Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to the Bernadette Jackson Podcast, where we are redefining how the world views women with daddy issues by discussing topics, sharing stories, and gaining insight, all from the perspective of a fatherless daughter. I'm your host, Bernadette, the creator of Her Way Relationship Intensive and your favorite fear investigator. If this is your first time here, here's what I want you to know. The fear of abandonment and rejection is the lens through which fatherless daughters do most things. It informs how they show up in every relationship. Most fatherless daughters are operating in the fear of abandonment cycle and they don't even know it. Each week, I focus on a topic that highlights how fear shows up in our lives, either through conversations with others or deep dives into the insights that I have. If you'd like to know if you're on the fear of abandonment cycle, go to BernadetteJackson.com/FOA cycle and take my free assessment. Again, that's BernadetteJackson.com/FOA cycle.
Hey y'all, do you date yourself? I mean, really date yourself. I don't mean take yourself out to eat, even though that's really important. I mean collect data on yourself. A lot of people have varying definitions of what dating is, but dating is defined as two people meeting socially with the aim of each assessing the other's suitability as a prospective partner in a future intimate relationship. So if you take this premise and you apply it to yourself, the question becomes, have you taken the time to assess yourself to see what kind of prospective partner is suitable for you? Now we can go even further and ask ourselves, at this stage of my life right now, in the season that I'm in, am I a suitable partner for a potential mate? This question takes you deeper and requires hard truths to be revealed. Let's be honest. Because sometimes we are not ready for what we say we want. And believe it or not, the right package at the wrong time is still the wrong package. But let's go back to the first question. Have you taken the time to assess yourself to see what kind of prospective partner is suitable for you? This level of introspection is something that I begin to explore week 1 with my clients. I say this often and I cannot stress it enough that just because you've lived with yourself all your life does not mean that you have very much insight into who you are at your core. I will go further to say that survivors of childhood trauma, such as having an absent father, have lived in survival mode for so long that there is no desire or urging to get to know yourself deeply. And I say this because children are ill-equipped to handle traumatic events. And in order for them to cope with it, defense mechanisms need to be developed for their survival. Anyone in that state does not allow themselves the luxury of self-discovery, because self-discovery opens old wounds. Self-discovery explores buried feelings. Self-discovery shines a light in dark places. Self-discovery leads to vulnerability. And these things are extremely hard to do when you have spent your life in survival mode. I'm going to pause right here for a quick word from our sponsor.
Before we get back into this week's goodness, I want to invite you to join my private Facebook community, H.E.R Coalition. I make it my business to create safe spaces for fatherless daughters to learn, grow, and heal, and H.E.R Coalition does just that. We go deeper into conversations about the things that we discuss here on the podcast. I teach a new topic weekly, we share stories, and we just support and love each other. It's a space I wish I had growing up when I was clueless about how my fatherlessness affected me and yearning for a deeper connection. But I was just too paralyzed with the fear of rejection. Healing happens in community with like-minded and like-hearted people, and I would love to be in community with you. So join H.E.R Coalition at BernadetteJackson.com/community. The ladies of H.E.R Coalition get to choose the topic of weekly discussions. They get exclusive access to events and first dibs on all that my brand has to offer. So again, join me in H.E.R Coalition at BernadetteJackson.com/community.
Now, here's the thing. As hard as self-discovery is, it's also very beautiful. The journey to yourself should be taken slowly, lovingly, and with extreme care. You may have some ideas of what self-discovery can look like, and you may have even ventured down the road, but I want to share some things that I found to be extremely helpful on my journey to myself. I started with envisioning the type of woman that I wanted to be. And I asked myself questions like, if there was no barrier to entry and you knew that you couldn't fail, what would you spend your time doing? What kind of impact would you make? When you are introduced, what do you want people to say about you? How do you want to be described? What do your relationships with the closest 5 people to you look like? And who are these people? Describe them. How do you spend your free time? What do you do to recharge? I answered questions like these with no inhibitions, no judgment, and no filter. Then and only then could I see what my heart's desire for myself was. Not the me that was still in survival mode, not the me that didn't have the audacity to fully show up, but the deepest part of myself that held on to the most authentic version of myself. Self-discovery brings you back to that version of yourself. Once you can visualize the most authentic version of yourself, you need to ask yourself a very hard but necessary question. And that is, what things in my life are preventing me from showing up as her? Because visualization is the road to self-discovery, but actualization is the vehicle traveling down that road. It's one thing to see the vision of your most authentic self, and it's quite another to do the deep self-work, to step into who that really is at your core, and to do it boldly and unapologetically. So when I asked, have you taken the time to assess yourself to see what kind of prospective partner is suitable for you? Know that it's only by knowing who you are at your core and how you want to show up that you are going to get to the place where you can say what kind of partner is suitable for you. You cannot know one without knowing the other. There is no way that you can not know who you want to be at your core and then say what kind of person is going to be suitable for that. Because what we will then do is choose a partner that is okay for the version of ourselves that we're in now. And that version likely may be in survival mode. And then decide down the road that we are going to evolve past that place and then find ourselves in a relationship with a person who is no longer suitable for us. And so we have to be very careful about first visualizing who we are, actually then going and taking the steps to get to that version of ourselves before we can answer this question. because that's the only way that we're really going to have partners that are going to be suitable for us for the long haul, you know? And that's really what you want. I hope that this episode prompts you to take a deeper look into who you are, because it is only after you know yourself that you can share yourself in the amazing relationships that you deserve. And I really want that for you. If you know that this is something that you should be doing and you'd like for me to walk alongside you as you take this journey, head to BernadetteJackson.com/herway to learn more. Bye.